Hi pre-K friends, it's Mrs. Gaunt here, and I have a great book to read to you today called The Last Polar Bear. Later today there's a fun science experiment you can check out that's going to have a lot of connections to this book. So pay close attention. The name of my book is The Last Polar Bear, and it is written by Jean Craighead George, and there are paintings by Wendell Miner. Beautiful paintings in this book, even just on the cover. And thinking about the title, The Last Polar Bear, I'm already making a prediction. What do I think this book is going to be about? What do you think? The Last Polar Bear. Oh, isn't he cute? Or she, we don't know. Tiglook glanced out the window. A polar bear was not very far away. Tiglook put on his boots, wind pants, sealskin parka, hat, and mittens. As he stepped outside, a gust of sub-zero wind stung his cheeks. Oh my goodness, look at this weather, and it's below zero, sub-zero degrees. So that means it is what kind of weather, boys and girls? Freezing. He looked down Ivick Street and saw everyone darting into their houses. Nanook! Bear moving fast! Go home! A woman yelled as she herded her children inside. So this does not sound like the setting takes place here in Los Angeles. The weather is different, and there are polar bears nearby. Also, you can tell by the illustration, the painting here, that these buildings and houses don't look like it does here. So I'm thinking they're somewhere up north, maybe near the North Pole. A sudden snow squall blinded Tiglook. Hearing a noise, he waited. Crunch, squeak, crunch. Just then, the blast of white thinned. He hears noises. What could it be? What do you think? Wow! Nanook was standing right in front of Tiglook. She looked straight at him with her night black eyes. What are you trying to say? Asked Tiglook. Wow. He is face to face with a polar bear. And he thinks she's trying to tell him something, trying to communicate something. Nanook, that must be in his language, the word for polar bear. Nanook rose up on her hind feet and flailed her enormous paws. Then she rolled her eyes upward and headed north, as if to say, "Follow me, Tiglook." Against the white ice, she was yellow, then yellow-gray, and finally, she was gone, her empty paw tracks appearing one after another. So he could see the paw prints in the snow, and he could track her that way. That's really neat. He knows how to track a polar bear. Tiglook's grandmother came up beside him. "Nanook spoke to me," Tiglook said. "I think she wants me to follow her." "Yes," said his Akka. "The bear needs you. She needs us both, Akka," said Tiglook. Wow. So Tiglook feels like the bear wants him to follow her. And this is his grandmother, who he calls Akka. The Arctic. Oh, now we know where they are. They're up north in the Arctic. The Arctic had changed that year. The thaw had come early. Fall was staying longer. And strange trees, flowers, and birds that usually lived in much warmer places were appearing. With all the changes in climate, what would happen to the polar bears who needed the ice to survive? "Akka," Tiglook said, "we must follow Nanook together." Wow, so they've just told us that it's staying warmer longer up in the Arctic. Not as cold, so not as much ice. Oh no, and the polar bears need the ice to survive. The next day, Tiglook brushed the snow off his father's old sealskin kayak. That's a type of canoe, a type of boat. The kayak had ripped coming ashore last fall. Akka would mend it. He took it over to her house. Can I help? He asked. Akka's eyes twinkled. Mending is my work, she said. But there's more and more trash in the ocean that can poke holes in my kayak. It would be good to know how to mend it, said Tiglook. Then I will teach you. So he's also talking about trash being in the ocean. That doesn't sound like a good thing. One morning, weeks later, Tiglook and his Akka paddled into the great Arctic Ocean to find Nanook. Find the polar bear. Look at those birds, Akka said. They are guillemots. They never nested so far north before, but now that it's warm, they come here and lay their eggs in old crates and oil drums. So they're seeing different types of animals than are typically found because the weather's warmer. Look who they found. Tiglook and Akka paddled for days, stopping on ice floes and small islands to rest and eat panniktuk, the seal jerky they had sun-dried for their journey. There are fewer ice floes than there used to be, Akka said. Tiglook knew ice floes were polar bear ships. Nanook used them to find food and rest. What happens if there are no more ice floes? Tiglook asked. Then there will be no more Nanooks, Akka answered. So ice floes are like, imagine giant floating ice cubes in the ocean. And the polar bears can use them as little rafts. They can even go on top of the bigger ones and rest because it's hard to swim all the time, right? Throughout the ocean. They get tired. So your arms and legs get tired when you're swimming and you need somewhere to rest. The polar bears rest on the ice floes, if there are ice floes to be found. What will happen if there are no ice floes? They spotted another ice floe. You see this like giant ice cube in the middle of the ocean? And it's floating there. They spotted another ice floe. Look, Akka, yelled Tiglook. Those 3 black spots are Nanook. There are her eyes and her nose. Curled on the ice was a very young polar bear cub, all alone. So is that the Nanook he saw back before? Or a different one? Yeah, I think this one looks smaller. This is a cub. It's not Nanook, said Akka, but her cub. The mother bear must have died or she wouldn't have left her baby unprotected from the gulls. Tiglook got out of the kayak and walked toward the cub. He picked him up. I will call him Piluk, which means to survive. So we named him Survivor. With the melting away of the ice, he is the last polar bear. So his mommy didn't make it back. There wasn't an ice floe for her to rest on and to find food. But here the cub has survived, and so he's named it Survivor. And I think he's going to take care of him. Oh, how cute. You see this picture? We'll take him back to town and feed him, said Akka. Tiglook tucked the baby bear in his arms, and the little cub put his arms around Tiglook and licked him on the face. Oh, I think he's happy to be found. Yes, said Tiglook as they paddled toward home. Our town will feed Piluk, the last of the polar bears, and show him how to live in a warming world. So I think he knows it's up to the humans to help these animals. We need to be responsible, keep the animals safe, right? And without those ice floes, polar bears need our help. So, boys and girls, there is a science activity where you get to make some ice, maybe put some things inside, and then also melt the ice and see what happens, what causes the ice to melt. And then you can also think about how that relates to this book. Okay, you can talk about it with mom and dad. All right, hope you enjoyed our book today, boys and girls. Miss you, and we'll see you soon.